out of the red corner, an undefeated mixed martial artist holding a perfect professional record.
What's up, everybody? Crossover MMA back in here with one more video. This will be my UFC Vegas 98 recap. I went 10-2 on the card. Timestamps will be in the description. Let's get right into it. In the main event, we have Brandon Royval versus Taira. Rounds 2 and 4 were controlled by Taira. He did a really good job implementing his grappling, getting the back of Brandon Royval. And then on the flip side, rounds 3 and 5 were clearly for Brandon Royval. He kept the fight on the feet in these rounds, and in doing so, landing more on the feet, was hurting Taira with jabs and quick 1-2s. The swing round was round 1, so let's get right into it. In round 1, Royval was having a lot of success with the jab and the 1-2s, just like he was in the other rounds. I think Taira just wasn't picking up on the speed of Royval, and he just wasn't moving his head well at all. Taira tried to get a takedown after catching a kick early, but Royval did a great job of staying on his feet. Taira did start to land some towards the end of the round. Royval was just a bit more active, and he landed 3 times more strikes than Taira. But towards the end of the round, with probably about a minute left, Taira landed a huge right hand with about a minute left. But I think Royval was off balance, and I think that's why he went down. I don't think it was an actual drop. So in my opinion, I gave the first round to Brandon Royval 10-9. And here are the actual scorecards. It was a very good competitive fight for sure, but I think Royval's experience and grit were the difference, honestly. In the co-main event, we had Brad Tavares versus Ju Young Park. In this fight, Brad Tavares clearly won round 1, Park clearly won round 3, and the swing round in this fight was round 2. So with that being said, in round 2, Park comes out, gets right on the pressure. Tavares is throwing and landing, but is really getting backed up against the cage. Park is also throwing and landing, but I would say in the early parts of the round, Tavares was landing a bit heavier. Park then started trapping Tavares up against the cage, and this is when Park started having his most success. Halfway through the round, Tavares' activity just started to slow down, and that's when Park just started being the busier fighter. Tavares started to pick it up towards the end of the round and land, but Park's jab really started being effective at this point in the fight, and Tavares didn't really have an answer for it. I gave the round 10-9 for Park. Here are the judges' scorecards, and Park ended up winning by a split decision. In the feature fight, we had Njokuani versus Gooden. This fight was pretty much rinse and repeat, honestly, guys. I mean, they get into the clinch. Gooden would have his back up against the octagon, and Njokuani would land some knees and elbows, and then right after that, they just would be right back in the clinch. This was a story of the fight for 15 minutes. Gooden didn't really do much or put up much of a fight. It was like he just wanted to survive to the end of the fight. It was a clear 30-27 unanimous decision for Njokuani. Next fight, we have Grant Dawson versus Rafa Garcia. In round 1, Grant Dawson gets a takedown a little under the 4-minute mark. He started landing some good ground and pound from the guard. Dawson really controls Garcia for the rest of the round. It was a clear 10-9 for Grant Dawson. Round 2, Dawson comes out, gets another takedown 30 seconds into the round. Dawson then advances to Garcia's back with the wrist control, aka the Dagestani handcuff. He starts unloading some ground and pound on Garcia. Then Dawson flattens out Garcia, gets the finish with ground and pound elbows for the TKO. Next fight, we have Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morono. In this fight, we had a split decision, and round 2 is a swing round on the judges' scorecard, so let's get into it. Both guys are landing in the pocket. D-Rod is being a bit more active, as Alex Morono was a little more active in the first round. I think he was trying to catch his wind a little bit in the second round, especially the early parts of the round. D-Rod was using some really good body work with teeps and jabs to the body. Morono was countering D-Rod, but D-Rod was just landing a little bit more. I'm going to include the stats so you can see the actual numbers. And as we can see, The totals are 44-23 in favor of D-Rod. I scored this round for D-Rod, and on top of it, here are the judges' scorecards, and D-Rod wins the 29-28 split decision. Now I'm going to give you some prelim highlights. So in the first highlight, we have CJ Vergara versus Ramazan Temirov fight. In this fight, Temirov comes out and he's just throwing huge shots, but he's coming up a little short in landing. But then at some point, like, he finds a range, he lands a huge left hook and it rocks Vergara badly. And at that point, the avalanche just really begins. Vergara's literally running away, trying to survive and weather the storm. But Temirov is just on him and won't give him any space. Just when you think Vergara will have a chance to recover, Temirov lands another big shot, rocking Vergara again. Then Temirov lands a big left hook to the body, and it's just too much, and that pretty much does it, and Temirov gets the TKO. The next fight, we have Jonathan Pearce versus Pat Sabatini. So in round one, Sabatini lands a kick, and then it's literally as soon as he lands a kick, he shoots a single leg straight away. Sabatini uses that to take the back and then jumps on Pearce's back up against the cage. Sabatini locks in the body triangle and then starts hunting for the rear naked choke. Pearce is able to clear Sabatini off, but Sabatini still has a body lock. They engage in a clinch, and then Sabatini uses that to get a takedown. Sabatini then advances to the back, hunting for the rear naked choke again with the body triangle locked in. Sabatini then sneaks his left arm under the chin and gets the tap. Next fight, we have Junior Tafa versus Sharaf. Both guys come out in the first round just throwing big, heavy shots, just trying to end the fight in the first round. Sharaf is coming forward, landing his shots. Tafa's fighting more off the back foot countering, and he's doing a good job of it. It's just a back and forth fight as each guy just taking turns landing. It's a very high pace for large heavyweights. Sharaf gets a really big takedown at the end of the round. And in this moment, you can tell Tafa pretty much is just relaxed. He's just like, it's just only maybe 30 seconds and he can relax and make it to the end of the round. But Sharaf just unloads some serious ground and pound and nearly gets a finish right before the end of the round. But this was a clear 10-9 round for Sharaf. So then round two starts, both guys come out and they both are just completely gassed from the first round. Tafa lands a huge right hook, hurts Sharaf badly, and Tafa just starts landing these big uppercuts one after another. You just can see Sharaf starting to break. And then Junior Tafa ends up getting the TKO. And then in the first fight on the card, we have Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha. Both guys come out in round one. They're landing good shots with the hands. Carpenter then lands a takedown, and he lands a very nice elbow, causing a huge cut for Rocha. And that pretty much was the difference in the round. That was a 10-9 round for Clayton Carpenter. Round two, Rocha comes out a bit more aggressive, landing some shots straight away. Carpenter then gets a big takedown that he really needed because Rocha was definitely finding some success on the feet. He goes straight to the back and gets the rear naked choke for the submission. That's my quick little breakdown for UFC Vegas 98. As always, any questions, comments, feedback, it's greatly appreciated. If you enjoyed the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time.